Hey, it's Gavin here from WalshFataway.com, and I have a very special guest with me today. I have Dawn Sylvester. How are you doing, Dawn? Nice to have you on the Hangout.
Now, I'm doing great. How are you, Gavin?
I'm wonderful. You know, it's 11 o'clock here, but, I'm trying to speak to experts all over the world. So I just, it's Friday night. So what? This is just how we roll.
That's right.
So before we get stuck in, I just want to introduce you properly because it'd be rude not to. So Dawn is... has a website. It's constantenergyfitness.com. She's a gym owner. She's a nutrition and anti-aging and women's fat loss expert, and she's been in the industry for over 17 years. So she is was a self-confessed cardio maniac, so years back, but since then she's found a formula that worked so well for her, and she's now started helping others transform their bodies using that formula, and got herself certified as a fitness trainer and a sports nutritionist. And from there, she has also spoken at several women's health events on aging, anti-aging. She's also been a guest contributor to Oxygen magazine, that is. And also, she's been in several other publications as well. And now she is really focused and passionate about helping people, helping women in particular, getting off that diet roller coaster. So by reprogramming their metabolism, and more recently with a sort of new book launch, Final Fat Meltdown. So I hope that's pretty much sums it up there, Dawn.
That was very proper as the word that you put. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No problem. So as I said, it's great to have you on the call on Hangout and this wonderful tinterweb that we have. But for those who don't know you, how did you get started as a fitness professional? I touched on it there, but how did you get started as a fitness professional, fat loss, and I'm more of an anti-aging expert as well. How did it all happen?
Thank you. Well, actually, I started by making a whole lot of my own mistakes. When I was in my late 20s, like you mentioned earlier, I was the professed cardio maniac, and I think still that's one of the hardest things to get women to change their way of thinking. I thought, like so many women think, if I'm gaining weight, then I need to eat less and do more cardio. So I was doing 6 classes a week, sometimes 2 hours a day of cardio, and starving myself. I was miserable. I was irritable. I'm sure my hormones were out of whack. I kept gaining weight, and I didn't know what to do. So one day in my hours in the gym doing cardio, I saw a woman that had what I thought was the perfect sculpted, tight, lean body. So I asked her, what did she do? And she just looked at me and said, first of all, I eat. And second of all, I don't run on the treadmill for 2 hours. I'm like, okay, so what do you do? And she says, body weight training. I'm only here for about half an hour. I eat a lot. I eat protein. And this was all new to me. But I was all ears because obviously what I was doing was not working. And I had been doing it for many, many years. So flip forward about a year of still thinking I knew what I was doing and being a little resistant to change. I started eating a little bit more, started doing a little bit less cardio, a little bit of body weight, a little bit of dumbbell free weights, a little bit of more intense training, but way less time. Well, of course I found out I had more energy because I wasn't burning myself out. And within a very short period of time, my body really started transforming. And then all of a sudden people wanted for me to coach them. Yeah. Next thing I got certified. Next thing I got certified in fitness training, segue forward a bunch of years. And here I am coaching women, doing guest speaking engagements, and really transforming other people's bodies. And I think the key is that I've never gained the weight back. And that's been a whole lot of years. We'll maybe talk about that number later, but yeah. So it's been a great transformation.
Love it. So you became, you asked the person who you saw who had that tight body, looked great, and it's almost come full circle. You are the person now people ask and try and get the advice from and your secrets. Right.
And you know what? I mean, people think that fit people and lean people have some secret that they're not sharing. And there are some, obviously we all have different bodies, and, as women, we have different body makeups, and so each thing is very personalized, and I like that term, personal training. Then there's also some things, and Gavin, I'm sure you know, that bodies do what bodies do. If we put in the right thing, we get out the right thing, but that seems to be where all the the mysteries and the BS and the ads and the quick fixes overnight and the diet pills that women still have the hard time wanting to be fixed right now. So it's still kind of a battle.
Now, you touched on the cardio there, and I still see it drives me crazy. I go into a gym training clients and stuff, and just on my own, and you always see loads of people on the treadmills, on the cross trainers, and all that sort of business. And then round near the weights, you get a few people.
Right.
It's crazy, but
one person near the squat rack.
yeah, definitely. And what I notice when I go into the gym is it's so many more women doing the cardio, and still, this is, it's 2015. We've known this for a while. So I wanted to know, you touched on doing the body weight training, the dumbbells, the kettlebells. Now, why is it that that women do that? Women, they want to tone, but they do the cardio, and the guys end up doing the weights. What do we mean?
You just hit on one of my words there, Gavin. I want to get rid of two words out of women's vocabulary: tone and diet. Diet is negative, and it, to me, makes you obsess over what you cannot have. Tone is what women come to me that need to lose 30, 40, 50 pounds and say, I don't want to get bigger. I don't want to put on muscle. I only want tone. So I tell them that tone is basically the state of your muscle when it isn't flexed, meaning you still have to have muscle. And, women compare themselves with men. We don't have the testosterone level, so we're never going to get big. And if you're comparing yourself against those women in the bodybuilding magazines, don't. You will never do that. It is not a lifestyle. So in order to raise your metabolic rate, you have to put on some muscle. Doing cardio does the opposite. It tears away your muscle, making your metabolism slower, and it's more aging, harder on your joints. Not to mention, girls, what does running on a treadmill do? Pulls everything towards gravity. Don't we want everything lifted up a little bit? So body weight training, strength training, those are all anti-aging. Gives you a little muscle. You get sexy curves, not flabby, flat, weaker curve, So that word tone, it's got to go away.
Yeah, totally agree, without a doubt. You mentioned the diet as well, and still people, again, I've said it's 2015, but still people are doing this. What is your take on diet and the calories in, calories out, and is there anything else that we need to do, or women in particular?
Right. Well, I think for women especially, because I do nutrition consulting, and what I have people do is I have them keep a food journal or a diary for about 10 days. And I tell them, I'm not judging you. I'm just looking for missing links. I am amazed. And besides the diet foods and the low-cal foods and all the really horrible toxins, I'm amazed at how little protein women eat. So even if you get one or two in here that do a little bit of strength training, their protein intake is so low that, again, to burn more calories, you have to build your muscles, and bigger muscles burn more calories. They're never going to get to that point where their body's working for them instead of against them. So I have people eat for energy and eat for what they're going to be doing next. We never count calories with my plan, Final Fat Meltdown. It's more about a nutrient timing type of thing. If you're sitting at a desk all day, you don't need a lot of complex carbohydrates. If you're going and doing something active, explosive, even an intense 20-minute short burst of a workout, you need a little bit more carbs in your body ahead of time. Sitting and watching TV, most Americans, Gavin, I don't know if you guys do this, but yeah, you guys like potatoes, right? So you eat all the bad for you foods the last thing at night while you're sitting in front of the TV with your beer and your bad food, and you wonder why you've got a belly. So I say transform, turn that around almost a little bit backwards, higher carbs earlier in the day, lower carbs, higher protein, and then the whole other thing with women is healthy fats. Yep. All these women that cut so much fat out of their diet, we are a slave to our hormones. So we need healthy fats, avocados, olive oil, almonds, coconut oil, things that actually raise your fat burning potential.
Yeah. The low fat thing, I think most people, well, not most people, because still tons of people who come to me and say, should I eat this and should I eat that? And it's like,
sure, every day.
I'm eating too many avocados. Like, no.
Right.
Right. Avocado's fine, nuts fine, no problems.
Right.
Now
how about fruit? What about when women come up to me and say, isn't fruit a sugar? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that if you include a lot more fruit in your diet and omit bad fruit, you know, I don't think there's a whole lot of extremely overweight people walking around that eat fruit a lot.
Yeah, it's not the fruit that's making you overweight.
No, it sure is not. Or unenergetic or hormonal or, you know, right.
No, but you know, you touched on the hormones there, which is a big thing nowadays. I think a lot more people tend to focus on hormones. Is there anything in the in Final Fat Meltdown that you touch on that and try and, you know, you obviously mentioned the healthy fats there, which helps.
Sure. Well, as far as hormones, I mean, you know, I think I used the term earlier, women are slaves to their hormones, but you don't have to be. Certainly as we age, our bodies take on different meaning, you know, from when you're under 35 to possibly being the childbearing years to over 35. And then I coach women 45, 55, 65. I mean, I'm actually going to be 56 in a couple of months. And I even have, I have a thyroid disorder. I have something called Hashimoto's autoimmune disorder that makes most women pack on a ton of weight. And they have a whole lot of issues, but I choose to not let it define me because I have too much to do in life and I enjoy life too much. But back to the hormone thing, it's like you can do things that make your hormones store fat, and you can do things with your body, with your diet, there's that word diet, but with your nutrient intake and with exercise that promote fat burning. So you can turn your body from a fat storing machine to a fat burning machine. It's like the women that cut calories and starve themselves. Well, their body thinks it's starving and it will hold on to every last bit of fat it possibly can. It's like it needs that kickstart. And that's what my plan is about, is rebooting or, you know, kickstarting your metabolic rate so that you don't have to worry about trends or fads or fat loss. Yeah.
That's nice. It's more of a long-term approach, which I think so many people are missing. We talk about diets, and it's not a nice word, but it's trying to get I suppose their habits, the way they eat to be a way of life.
Well, I think that term now that's really big is broken metabolisms. It's like women literally break their metabolic rate. And when women say, I have a slow metabolism, I tell them, well, that means one of two things. You're extremely sedentary or you have very little muscle on your body. And we can change both of those things. You know, where people say everyone in my family was fat, everyone in my family died of heart disease. Well, we're smart enough now and educated enough now to know that we can trick our gene pool. I mean, that's most of the time it's a learned behavior. And even if you were predisposed to have heart disease or obesity in your family, we can tweak all those things that go right back to the hormones again to make changes, you know. And that's where I lead people to changes that last.
Awesome. Love it. Final Fat Meltdown. It's geared towards sort of what would you say, women over 35 or so?
Women over 35 or even over 45 that have broken their metabolisms by the calorie cutting and the trends and the fads and the low fat and the no fat and the cardio only. So it's definitely a reprogramming, you know, that starts to happen. It's actually a very energizing program. You know, I know one of the things people ask is, you know, well, what can I expect? Can I lose weight in the first week? And I tell people, well, I'm probably going to have you eating more quality foods, and we're not counting calories, so you're going to be eating often. You're going to be eating a lot more protein, and they say, why am I eating more if I'm trying to lose weight? And I'm like, you know, bear with me. We want to energize your body and reprogram your hormones so that you have energy, you feel happy. And they're like, wait, happy when I'm talking about a fat loss plan? The two don't ever seem to go together. So, and then one of the first things people say is, I can't believe how much energy I have. I'm sleeping better. You know, the workouts are, you know, intense enough, but I can do it as a beginner and scale it down a little bit, or I can really push myself if I want to get a little bit more out of it, you know.
Yeah. You mentioned about, you know, being happy and stuff there. And I've had that question before because you know, some of my programs when I speak to clients, I say, I talk about stress. And, you know, if you're really stressed, you're not getting enough sleep and your diet is completely pants, then, you know, it's going to cause weight gain. And when you're highly stressed, it makes it much harder to lose that weight. So you're trying to get that balance, you know, trying to get some good sleep, trying to get good food in you. And this is what Final Fat Meltdown is about, isn't it?
Oh, right. There are so many studies now done, and I'm a study maniac. I just love to read, you know, and obviously if you hear one study, it doesn't make it so. It's when you hear something for, and obviously I'm a digger. I look for information, and I have some pretty great places to find information, teaching colleges, teaching hospitals, some great sources. But, it's amazing what lack of sleep, we now know, turns on your hunger hormones. And stress, like you talk about, oh my gosh, how many people, the most stressed out people that I know have the largest bellies. Now we know that cortisol hormone, we need it to live, but an overproduction of it is that belly fat storage. So when you're happier, liking what you're eating, sleeping well at night, and you're following a program that's, very doable. I mean, people have such negative ideas of diets, or what am I going to have to give up? Mine has actually a grocery list for life in it, and people right away call me or email me, wait, this is the list I'm allowed to eat? And I'm like, yes, it's healthy foods without a label, I mean, really good for you foods that people like. It's not any crazy wood chips or anything.
No, that's great. Now, obviously you deal with women, 35, 45, 55 or older. And right. What are some of the things that differ, as women get older, and perhaps different from men as well?
Sure. Well, and back to that testosterone level. So obviously we all need a balance of hormones, estrogen to testosterone, progesterone, and especially once you get towards the menopausal years where women just think, okay, that's it. I have a line actually in my book where I literally heard a woman say, well, I am 40. I'm not supposed to be sexy or have a fit and tight body anymore. And I'm like, you're the exact woman that I wrote this product for. Why can you not be sexy? Why can you not be vital, lively, excited about life, and looking forward to life? That's why I love the term anti-aging. And I think that's why I have a big following of women that term anti-aging. Of course, we're chronologically aging, but are you doing it in a weak and feeble and unhappy way? Or are you vital and strong and getting better? That's again what my whole Final Fat Meltdown mantra is, living with vitality, living with energy, and feeling the best you ever felt.
And there's no reason why. I said just follow the program.
Right.
Listen to the advice. Just some of the stuff we're talking about here. If people just take some of this information and
sure.
run with it.
Definitely, and it's not and like we said, it's not that 2-day weight loss. You're not losing 10 pounds overnight, and it's not a cleanse or a pill or something that, that if you think it's too good to be true. I mean, this is just very solid information that people can follow. I mean, it's amazing how many people have bought the book, how many people personally email me within the first week saying, wow, this is not like any plan I ever thought. And I was skeptical, but I already feel great. Maybe they haven't lost weight immediately, but they're energized, they're sleeping well, they're feeling good. And isn't that what everything in life, if you don't feel good, you're not going to be healthy. Nothing's right. So you have to feel good and you have to feel energized, I think, before anything positive happens within your body or your life.
Cool. You mentioned about the results there, and obviously first week is just trying to almost sort of plant those foundations, make sure they're in place. Now, what sort of results can people expect? Can women expect after that? Where do you take them? What's the journey?
The journey, it's about, it can actually be a lifetime, because it is about programming your body to live this as a lifestyle. But it is written into a 30-day plan. So there are daily steps that are very doable. And, I think one of the hugest things that I have found with women is everything in our lives that we ingest is toxic. I don't care how organic you eat or how clean you eat, the soil, the water, the air, medications, all those things work against us. So the very first thing I think people notice is they're a little bit less bloated, a little less puffy. The energizing, I cannot stress that enough. I think so many people wish they had more energy, especially women. The best husbands and the best dads in the world, women carry things on their shoulders. Even if they're not a reality, we take the world on, we try to do everything, and a lot of women do a great job of it, but they're the last person to, awesome. And they're the last person that feels that their needs are being met. But you know what? You have to make that happen yourself. So the first week and then the second week, I think you're kind of detoxifying yourself, completely staying away from, diet foods and low fat foods and diet sodas that do all those things that we know now that trigger bad reactions in our body. So it's getting the bad out, but not worrying about what I'm not allowed to have. I mean, I have steak on the options, dark chocolate, strawberries. I mean, if you want to drink a glass of wine, great. I mean, these things are not, it is not a rigid plan that nobody can adhere to. It's a feel good plan that you end up losing weight,
And I like what you said there, because I think once you've got those foundations in place, then, you can go out and enjoy,
Right.
have a steak, a glass of wine, a beer. And once you've got the exercise dialed in as well, I think that's,
right.
I think they go together then. So some people just focus on the diet and there's no exercise. People talk about.
I like that term. I like that term that you use, dialed in. So you've got to dial in both of them. So the plan is every other day you do exercise, and on the days that you do exercise, you eat differently than the days you don't, which none of it is stressful. I mean, it's very easy, and like I said, people have a hard time wrapping their head around that this is going to work. And then by the second week, they're like, wow, okay, I feel great. My pants are looser. Back to the sleeping good, feeling energized. And then by the end of 30 days, I mean, I've had people lose 15 pounds. So not feeling like they're following a calorie cutting plan or something really strict that was too hard to do.
And that's awesome. It's something that you can keep up, because nobody can keep up counting calories for the rest of their life.
Or points, or having food mailed to their house that comes in a package, or any of those things that, there's a thing that's huge here in America. I don't know if you're familiar with medical weight loss. And literally you drink 2 shakes a day. And I've had girls call, I mean, maybe there's different plans, but the girls that have come to me that have lost 35 pounds over the course of 2 or 3 months have now gained 60 pounds. And then when I look at what they ate while they were on that plan, 100 calorie shake for breakfast, then a meal, 100 calorie shake. So guess what happens after all that? They binge.
Uh-huh.
They're so obsessed with what they've not been able to eat. They are so tired. Their brain is in such a fog. They're irritable. They don't sleep. They wake up in the middle of the night and eat the bag of cookies. So that's not going to happen with my plan at all. If anything, you probably can't eat as much protein as I'm telling you. It slowly starts to happen when you start to feel how much better you feel. And then it becomes, like I say, even though it's a 30-day plan, it can be a lifestyle. I mean, it's literally how I live my life. I don't call it a diet. Does not have, well, now it has a name, Final Fat Meltdown, but it didn't have a name. I don't follow Atkins or Paleo or this or that,
Yeah, I mean, we have something over here. I think it's called the Cambridge diet. I don't know if you have that, but it sounds very similar.
Oh, okay, I have heard of that.
Yeah, sounds very, very diets are all the same. And the problem you have is, I mean, it's always women. Unfortunately, they seem to gravitate towards these things.
Sure.
And it's okay. They might lose some weight on it initially, but then nothing's changed. They haven't changed anything with their diet, anything with the way they exercise, and then they go back to the old habits, and it's just. The weight just goes back up again.
The biggest problem that I think what happens with those fad diets and those quick bad weight losses is that you've lowered your metabolic rate so low that you start storing even more fat than before, and hence the term yo-yo dieting.
Yep.
You go back to skinnier, then you get a little fatter. You go back to a little skinnier, then you get a little more fat. So that fat factor keeps getting bigger, but you're never feeling better, and you are never firmer or tighter or leaner or healthier. And even the people that just lose weight from cutting calories or doing cardio, you're probably a flabbier, weaker, skinnier version of what you were before. You're not more energized. Your internal organs are not healthier. It's not a better state of mind, and it's nothing that you can maintain for life either.
Yeah. And this is the thing, they do these diets and they think, all right, you know what, I'm going to do some exercise as well. I'm going to jump on the treadmill and do some exercise. And then there's the no muscle, and it's just like, and then they go back to eating the way they did, and their metabolism is slower. They put on more weight, and it's just like, oh.
And then they try the next fad the next time. And I was that exact girl. I mean, it was my weight skyrocketed quickly for a short period of time. Thank God I was smart enough to get a grip on it. But when I look back at pictures, and if you look at my Final Fat Meltdown page and see my heaviest picture, which I didn't want to put that on there, but I thought, okay, people have to see that really was me before. And then when I turned 50, I actually did a figure bodybuilding show. So I put that picture, and that's not an everyday body type either. But then there's a picture of me, and you're seeing me right now. This is how I've been I have a 19-year-old son, and this is pretty much how I've been since then, you know.
I'm glad you mentioned the pictures then, because I was going to mention it at the end, because definitely people need to check out the photos, the differences. And you said, how old are you in a couple of weeks? Did you say?
Well, I'm 55 right now. We won't worry about the couple of weeks.
Yeah. No. So, but definitely, the guys and girls that are watching this, it's going to mainly be girls. Sorry, and when you're watching this, go and check out Dawn's pictures, and you see from the way she lives her life. We've talked about diet there, but it is a way of life, and dialing in the exercise, and look at the photos, and you can see Dawn looking, amazing, fantastic figure, and you look great in those photos. So
thank you so much,
girls. You've got to check that out. Nearly time to wrap this up. So I've got a couple other questions for you though.
Sure.
And so let's say you've got lots of women watching this. And what's the number one sort of benefit from the program that they would get?
The number one benefit is easy. When you follow this plan, you're going to keep the weight off. And I know so many women that have followed hundreds of plans, and they do lose weight on them, but they are always looking for the next plan. So the idea behind this is that it's going to raise your metabolic rate while you're eating real food, and it's going to stay that way. And it's an easy to follow plan. So I think the number one thing is that you're not going to gain the weight back. You don't even have to worry about a maintenance plan after, because there's nothing so hard to follow and strategic in the beginning that you have to completely change. It's just a slow progression of, even though 30 days you can see a big difference, 60 days later. I mean, one of my best stories is a woman that followed my plan for 6 months, lost 90 pounds.
Wow. So
90 pounds in 6 months is a lot of weight.
That's crazy.
And she did she did better than most, and again, she kept saying, I never felt like I was following any plan I ever tried for my whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, and she, like she said, I'll never gain the weight back because it's easy to do this, and it's easy to live like this. So
that's amazing. I love it. So my next question is when are you coming over to the UK?
I was there 29 years ago, so we'll have to make a reunion thing for all of us fitness experts, the ones that we
get the gang over here and
that we personally connect with, and doing something like this. This is amazing, though. I mean, you're in the UK and I'm in Berkeley, Michigan.
Yep.
At 6:30 at night or whatever time it is.
Yeah, we're knocking on midnight here, but it's just, it's Friday. As I said at the start, this is how we roll. We want to speak to experts like yourself that are passionate,
right,
about helping women.
Right.
They've lost hope, and you said they're always looking for the next thing, but this will hopefully be the thing will be the thing that helps them. And right. As you say, it's those stories you're telling about the women they've been on the program, and it's not like they're on a program, on a diet or anything. It's just,
and they don't freak out at the end of it saying, oh my gosh, 30 days is up, now what do I do? They just continue the program because it's easy steps. You can incorporate 5 of the steps a day. You can incorporate 1 or 2, and the outcome is always going to be beneficial. You're going to lose body fat. You're going to be energized. You're going to rebalance your hormones, and it's not a fad. It is not a fad.
So if if the women watching this, they want to get hold of you, they want to ask some questions.
Sure.
How would they get hold of you?
So I have a couple of ways of contact. I do write a blog, and it is constantenergyfitness.com. And on that blog is a spot that I send out a 7-day free flat belly energizing program if you give me your email address, and then we will have each other's email address. And I personally answer any emails that anybody sends to me. And, it's funny because a couple of weeks ago, I actually sold 200 of my copies of my books in a 48-hour period, and I had emails coming in from so many different women with so many questions about, I'm a beginner, or I'm 55, and I mean, it was awesome. I felt very honored that they touched base with me personally, and I'm still talking to them. Yeah. So to access the book, it is finalfatmeltdown.com. And I also have my own YouTube channel, and it is under Dawn Sylvester. That's Sylvester. And probably if you went under Dawn Sylvester interviews, because that's the biggest thing that's on there right now. But
amazing. Well, I want to thank you, Dawn. It's been great, you know, talking to you, but also talking to the people out here. You know, we want to thank Dawn for being so passionate and sharing her time on this hangout. You know, it's obvious to me that you are on a mission to help as many women as you can. And it's great to see you, you know, to see a woman that's over 50, that's still, you know, energized, sexy, confident, and actually, you know, when the people watching this don't know when we met, but it was back in November. We were in San Diego, and when I first met Dawn, it was like, whoa, this, you know, she's like a firecracker. Firecracker,
that's a good one. I've been called Spark Plug, Energizer Bunny. I like Firecracker. That's good.
But it's true, you know, and as you say, you know, there's so many women in their 40s, 50s that have kind of, you know, hit the menopause, and they're just like, okay, yeah, you know, I'm just gonna do what I do and not worry about anything. But you know, it doesn't have to be that way.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there are many issues, and like I said, even with the autoimmune disorder and that, I mean, it's kind of a battle, but it doesn't define who I am. And I know that we have choices. And I have days where I don't feel like, you know, I feel like making excuses too, but it feels so much better to live this kind of lifestyle. And it is definitely the way that I want to promote, and I want to empower women with this information. You know?
That's great.
And thank you for all those compliments too, Gavin. That's sweet.
Yeah, you know, no problem. Because my wife is asleep downstairs. So what I will do, I will spread the word. And once again, I just want to remind those that are watching this to check out finalfatmeltdown.com. And there should be a link somewhere under the video, so you can click on that link as well. If you have any questions, you know, jump on over to Dawn's other websites or YouTube. And we've already mentioned, I'll put the links down below as well for those. And hope you've enjoyed this video. Dawn, thanks once again. And
thank you, Gavin.
Yeah, enjoy your weekend.
All right, you too. Have a great night's sleep.
All right, take care, guys.
Okay, goodbye.